Tree signatures,
See, I've learned
your
for
signature,
me to go by, what he's got
your signature.
either that or the ones that we're working on.
You got the same thing?
Got the same thing?
Okay, what I usually do, because he's light, a light marker,
Yeah.
I look at that and make sure he marked one and one.
Yeah.
You know, that way it makes it easier.
Now things that I usually carry.
Get back in here, you pass Mr. John Wiley. I will submit this.
Do I need the initial here too?
Yes, you need to initial that. Did he look at it?
The route, I'll take it back.
Did you look at this? Let him, yeah, you can take it to him, he can initial it. This is good, for 1 year, okay? And what that means is if you don't have the $35 and wait a few months, and they ask for proof, they approve. But, me, I would go ahead and go, you know, the route you need to go. They'll send you an email, that's why the email was important. They don't send you a copy of your license. Most people will tell you, when you get to the place, you get your license and get it, take it and save it on your desktop or somewhere as a file. Because there's some things you may want to get into, DMR, Echolink, or any of those kind of things. And they want a copy of
They finally
the original, the official copy. They don't want you just to go on the website and pull it up, because that's not the copy they want. And so that makes it easy for you to find. You can still find it, but it's more difficult. You concur? Okay. And I'll introduce you to a couple guys. If you want to sit and stay for the meeting, you're welcome to, or you can go home if you want.
Appreciate it, I'm probably gonna get them back now.
Okay, well, that's really all you need. Mr. Wiley, thank you for showing up, made it easy for you, and you had a piece of your
What
wife.
you guys are doing,
It is live stream.
Gonna be a YouTube star.
You are. This thing went in the tree. Yeah.
You can get your little valve thing like this, or you can echo link to get on this node. With this net.
You got the orange hat, okay. Give you a orange.
This area, most of the places you can get onto.
I've seen you around here for years.
With the handheld. Enough computers.
Doctor, good morning.
He had it pulled down under her arm. He said, I can give you a ticket when you get it.
You can go internet.
Up there.
Yeah.
This is echo link here. You get that?
Hello, welcome.
He can talk on the phone.
Trying to
I can
live
call.
stream our
Well,
meeting
next
this month.
month.
First time or always?
First time.
NU5
Don't know what's gonna happen.
We never do.
We'll
You're a
find
ham
out.
radio guy, you can
That's
figure
Are
out.
you testing?
There you go.
linked into our.
Or make somebody think they can anyhow.
So,
I gotta
get
take the
this,
test.
disconnect.
Well, he will get you tested.
All you gotta do
Yes,
is
he's
hit
testing, so.
I'm Steve Bozo, by the way.
Yeah.
the button there.
James Martin.
Name us all.
I did that.
You need all the help you can get.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Now, there was a really big one, yes, I brought it.
Put it together, they give you a number.
I need your ID.
Good question.
They know
You have your ID.
That's echo link. You got an iPhone.
Yeah, I can take that. I pay it. My credit card, I take the cash.
Sit up over here. And, get this set up. That'll get you on here. If we need to get paid. At least
I need your ID.
cheap. This one here is the, UV5R3. It'll do 200 megahertz range too. Yeah, I got it. Anyway, these things are cheap, and if you're phone still computer, you're expensive and it's powerful. But, you got questions, call.
Full of now. I wanted one on my roof.
Congratulations.
Here I am.
Keep your number whenever you're back.
Carolina lost 2-3-0.
If the first end of the world.
Yes, it is. Really?
But it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And hopefully see the rain bring it. As close as I am, I always win.
You know, like everybody else, I haven't been here as active here lately, but it should be.
Yeah.
So is this where he's at?
Anyway, thank you guys.
Looking for it.
The guy that was said he was ready to order anything
Oh.
for the restaurant? Are you ready yet,
Yes,
sir?
ma'am, I'm ready. I want that lunch, that breakfast sandwich.
Okay, and what price?
I don't know what live in Leno, what's that cost, Mike?
But I'll take
I got to
it.
pay public money.
Otherwise,
Yeah, I should say.
Yeah.
But that said.
Congratulations.
Any luck?
Oh, yeah, it's playing. Got you recorded.
Oh, good.
I had you right here.
This is
You
Mr.
said you were ready to order.
He'll make it shoes on the side. He lives in Brownsville.
Oh, on a croissant, we don't have croissants, we have
Been on there,
egg,
through the next repeater.
English muffin.
Okay.
So the crackleberry, how do you want the egg that comes with it?
Okay.
Overhard, yes, sir. And your drink?
Ice water?
Yeah, we just had a meeting last night, down at Marble Falls, and the guy that runs the website,
That's
one
it.
of our main people is. Thursday night, we have a Homer Day.
I never was military.
We got questions.
Oh, so you wouldn't-
How do I get that? Monday,
Yeah, that's
we'll
his
there.
Oh, this is my retirement. This is
Answer.
my character.
Yeah, that's what he was doing.
We had two new people from Sunrise Beach there last night.
Didn't I send you that paper? What you needed? That's all right.
I got the FRA number.
We got two people.
Making a good thing.
Oh.
They come up and ask the vice president of the club, it's, John Hammond. So, yeah. You're right in there, get on the HLARC.org. There is,
Ready to order?
places on there you can click, contact the webmaster, or contact the information. They'll send you.
What you having?
It'll be real easy, just hold on to me.
I'm all about it. Anything with that?
Yeah.
Make them simple. Thank you very
I
much.
can get y'all's order going.
Okay, you want,
But, fill all that out, you're coming in for a new license,
Coleslaw.
and you don't have this. That's only part of
we
it.
have for the 2 weeks
You
with,
will when you fill it out.
Yes, ma'am. How are we cooking your eggs?
over your.
And then,
And with the sausage.
Patty, honey.
Let's do,
Okay, and then biscuit or toast?
neither.
I'm used to it.
I was in certain California. I'm like, okay, good. And then she put out 2,000 things. I said, you got your license yet? She said, not yet. I said, well, let me talk to her.
And they like to lose it too.
Our
Are you just taking,
last night. And
Technician.
I didn't get a chance to go come up there and get
If I have to pass the technician, right?
yes, you have to pass it. Have you studied for the job? If you studied some for it, I would recommend it's gonna cost you no more.
Okay.
If you take it over, okay.
Can I take the general if I don't pass?
Yeah, those are good ones.
It's a spur and walk here.
I've
So,
got this
I need 3 versions of that.
I love those. I got 3 of them sitting there.
This one actually does 1.8. Oh, yeah.
He says it's door price.
That's a show and tell right there, man. That's good looking. That is for sure.
Okay. I'll need you to.
I'm glad to see they got your driveway figured out.
They don't, but that's all they're gonna
They look good.
Have you ever had a felony?
Doesn't look too bad.
Okay, I'm
No,
on.
but my trailer
Yeah.
won't go through it.
Okay.
They changed the angles.
That one you have to fill out?
And that's empty.
Yeah.
So if it's loaded, it's definitely not gonna.
And they pretty much said if, that they're not tearing that back out, if I want it, to where that trailer goes in there and out, I gotta sue them. And of course, there's no lawyers lining up to take that case, and I can't afford it anyway.
So you gotta take your axles and flip them over and put your leaves on top of them, and you'll be all right.
They're all, you know what, they're on. They are on.
I bet those leaf springs are underslung.
They are. I looked at that. It's one of those deals where the B-150 and that trailer moved me in and out of there. Their contract says equal to or better than, so I was telling them that truck has to go in and out of that driveway. They did not achieve that. They got close. I think maybe if I just put higher profile tires on it, but see, the thing is you get a trailer going tongue down and it'll try to kill you. And if I raise the axles, that D-150, the hitch is gonna be too low. Now, the Ram, it's got a receiver hitch, you know, I got all kinds of hitch options to try to sort that out. Oh, but the Ram, it impacts at the sidewalk, it doesn't even get out into the street.
Oh, no.
And
So
right.
it's not just a little bit.
Very deep.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, they are gonna clear the easement that they blocked, you know, that place where they put the wall where there used to be a dip there. That's actually a utility easement. So they're gonna clear that, and the trailer will go in and out of that. I've done that. I had other, you know,
But they won't
situations
put the
where I couldn't use
sidewalk.
the driveway.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, you know, everybody else down the street got notified in time where they could say, yeah, I'll give me a driveway there. You know, they'll still do that for me, but I gotta have paid to have a concrete tore out, so I'm looking at $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, something like that, to get what everybody else got for 80.
And I went out there and I picked a pop in my mouth and there was a stink bug on the motor.
But it's better than poking an eye with a sharp stick, so I'll take it.
That's true.
It tastes like stink bug. So now I'm back where I can eat it again. You don't ever want to bite down into it. Don't try it. Yeah.
And I'll tell you what
That's why I grabbed it back.
it takes a floor of 26.
That's the reason I try to always stand out like,
25.
you know,
Let's say you only got 25.
if I take it, I'm gonna.
I will offer you the opportunity to give you a different game
Like
level because you only missed it by one. Now, if you miss it by one, because that's kind of shows me that-
Well, put it down there already and so that.
I mean, that's, to be honest with you, I don't want
There's
to,
no giving today, so.
okay, this one,
No, we couldn't do
I need your
it.
name, that's none.
Is that a
Now,
giveaway?
fill that out,
I
and
think
all that
so.
here, and then sign that.
I'm not for sure.
It's like apple.
The cup holders are, I know, because I, you know,
Oh, it's not James Mark
And
Cass.
ophthalmology.
if you
No,
win,
it's-
if you remember to take, win them, you
Right?
take the.
Oh, right, no, it's JT.
Insert out. You know,
Doctor.
that's put in there when they ship them to the road.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Or scratch it
I
up.
read over there, I thought I saw it here. Copy everything but the email.
Okay.
It's their engineer that they need to,
I don't want to.
Yeah, I heard about that.
yeah.
Steve, how long did it take you to hunt and find you a plug?
Actually, the people here were just totally accommodating.
Yeah, you realize there's no plugs on that wall, right? That's a big no-no.
We are live, by the way.
Watch what you say.
At least I'm above ground.
What do they say? The mic is hot. The mic is hot. Those are duplexer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a.
Yeah, I try to make sure all the paperwork is
They're
good. After you
smaller.
leave here,
Yeah, the big ones like,
done right.
you
You
know,
know,
what
hard to
you
get
call
off.
it, propagation. These are just a whole lot smaller. And,
Last year and I thought, nah.
they're not bad little duplexes. I just sold them years ago with, and, I just didn't have time for the projects to sit on my shelf for about 6 years.
One antenna.
And that's why
Had to get rid of them.
Yeah, that is a little.
But these here run you can go on eBay or somewhere like that, and you can get new ones for about $100, $100 bucks, somewhere in that range. Where the other ones are about 1,800, 1,500. So, and when you order them like that, they'll also tune them for you.
Really?
If you've got the frequencies.
So, now that one shows 450 to 470 related.
That's UHF.
Right, tuning down in below 450.
Now, you go by
450, 470. Are the cavities on it?
Now I'm not sure, you have to ask Steve on that.
Where are you
But I'll see you
sitting,
in the
sweetheart?
specs on it. I
Where are you
will
sitting?
lie to you one way or the other.
number 9.
And what are you drinking, coffee and water?
Because I've got myself a lot in trouble a lot.
I always go by right order.
I understand that.
We don't always do it.
Excuse me.
Looking pretty good.
You got YouTube?
Number 273.
Do a search for it.
And that's Atkinson.
Trouble's
You're
here.
gonna be, on demand and just like.
You go there and click on it, you can watch. It'll be archived. So you can watch it
Ross, you won't have to take so many notes.
tomorrow. He was actually
Signed up.
You wanna, I'm just getting drinks as we're going.
Well, that one we tossed, right?
Your wife picked out a pretty shirt for you. I always tell my husband, "Man, you gotta get dressed up." Hot chocolate with whip? No? And you, sir?
You may take it.
Wow.
I do have a place. See what
If he takes the general.
I'm doing out.
Good little camera. I've got one at work. It's very, very similar to that. And the microphone on it is so sensitive I can hear the front to the back of the room. It's, oh yeah.
It'll be a beautiful place.
Yeah.
This test chamber.
He's taking the general test. Are you, can you take the for a general?
I'm an extra.
Yeah.
You clean the
If
drink.
I am a general, I can make it sign this general. I can exactly what it is.
No, you can sign. You can sign for a tech and he's testing for a tech.
Yeah, but I can't sign, I'm just a general.
A general could sign for a general.
I don't know.
I believe it. It has not been
Everybody gets to sign it.
Well, I'm going to wait to sign this until he takes his test.
Okay.
Let's, we should wait until he takes his test and then we know
Okay.
what we're signing for. Because if he's doing just tech, you could sign it.
Yeah, just for tech. But no, he's taking a tech, but he's gonna take a general. So he's just a general, so he can't.
Wait, so James is doing,
Yes.
yeah.
He's gonna be back.
But he's gonna take a general test.
Oh, he's going to take general as well?
I need extra people.
Oh, okay.
And I will pair them up.
Yeah.
okay.
I'm gonna wait till he tests before I sign.
Okay, I'll sit it over here, Gary.
I think that's a great idea. We'll wait, we'll test, and then
This
we'll
may be
sign.
one time only.
Well, it looks good though.
It could be good for when Kevin does his training and stuff.
Yes.
And I don't know, have you ever actually looked at the channel itself? We got-
Not yet. I've been too busy,
Oh,
but I will go look.
Spencer Shelley recorded two shows with Robert Candy 15 years ago. So we have that evidence.
Now, I actually started watching that. I actually saw part of that while they were talking, but I ran out of time and I wasn't able to keep watching it. So,
It's not going to get any better.
it's all good.
These are them radios on the last all the way down here. Let you give them away.
All right.
They just didn't work for me, so.
No worries. We'll just set them up there and we'll do it for somebody else. No worries. So Steve, I've got one of these computers for work. Love it. Absolutely love it. I understand why people either just absolutely hate them or absolutely just, I think, love them. I don't think there's an in between. I love mine. Now, mind you, when they bought mine, they bought a good one. So I really love it because it's a good one. It's got plenty of everything, right?
Yeah.
So it's got a big motor and a big old gas tank, if you will.
I went on the in-between side. I didn't go for the big, but this is not my only toy.
But it was very good.
You're humming right along? You know, I used that thing for a week at the house and not one problem. Gave it to him and 5 minutes later it's humming. I don't know. We'll solve it, whatever it is.
Lollipop.
Lollipop. That's what I use at the house pretty much.
Is that right?
And
Never used one, but I know that they're good.
it is kind of a nostalgia. They're really, really sensitive to pick up folks around.
Is that right?
That thing, that cartridge is no longer available. It's got that big round cartridge inside of it, big surface area, and a static. I guess 15 years ago quit making them.
Really?
You can get a kit in from a number of places, different cartridges, but not the original.
Had a neighbor down the street that back 30 some odd years ago, he was very much into 11 millimeter, and he had one of those. And pick it up, it was a handle, and he would, just the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I remember that. Yeah. But I remember that being like the centerpiece of his shack. I'm gonna drink my coffee.
Enjoy it.
Have you heard me talk on my 991 lately?
I've heard you talk. You don't always say what you're talking about. No complaint. How do you like it?
I've been using, I like it. After I've kind of got used to it, it's a little bit different to maneuver in. I've been talking on a BM 800 mic.
Okay. BM 800.
Yeah, it's a boom mic.
Oh.
It's a $25 mic.
Like $250 for their mic. I'll look at that.
Yeah, just Google BM 800. eBay's got tons of them on there, and they've got kits where you can get the boom, you can get the mic, you can get the cord, you get everything to hook it up for less than $30.
You can't beat that.
No, and my brother, he has one on the 7300, and he's been using it ever since he got it for 2 or 3 years. There's a little bit of a deal where you have to, you can't use a regular mic cord. You have to have something that powers the mic.
But you have power in your radio.
Yeah.
5 volt legal.
But yeah, I've been using it, and man, it's so hot, Steve, that you can barely turn the mic at about 30%. That's about as much as you can turn it up. Because it just drives the snot out of that radio. If you put it on HF on that night, it'll put the ALC way over here. I mean,
Back off.
yeah, you gotta turn it way down.
That one's the same thing.
Yeah, it is too. I don't know why that thing humming, because I heard you talk on it, and I never did hear no hum in it, and I don't know that. Now I did turn that a little bit, but I mean that shouldn't cause it.
Does it make any difference?
I don't know.
It could be coming, there's a 5 volt power lead, and it could be coming on that.
I don't know. Mess with it. No big hurry. Just
That
whenever.
thing is, it don't do it at my house. It's gonna be hard to
I know it was. I mean, see it, try it. Whatever, it don't matter. Yeah. Appreciate you.
You bet. I'm gonna play with the recording business.
Yeah.
We are live on YouTube right now.
Oh, cool.
Sorry, baby.
Bless your heart. Thank you,
Yes,
ma'am.
sir, enjoy. I'll get a coffee round back here.
But that's why I just did what I could.
Thank you, Lord. Amen.
Fruity pebble pancake.
So Becky's gonna have for breakfast.
I go out. I go outside every once in a while on the fire street, which is a lot more exact.
Does it just sit there?
I like that little bag.
Like that feels
What are we drinking? I got your order. What are we drinking? Diet Coke and you?
That's crazy, ain't it? Yeah, if you go on eBay, there's hundreds of them on there. BMA hundreds, and they work good.
Sound like that's what I need to do. Thank you.
And flowers and that.
Wow. May I join you? Am I in the way if I sit over here? Okay. Okay. Good morning.
This is the first time ever I'm gonna try a live stream on this thing.
Oh, well then I definitely want to stay out of the way. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know, I'm just messing.
Good morning. Let me bring out a drink.
Could I get a Dr. Pepper?
Dr. Pepper?
One thing I realized right away, I need to turn my hearing aids down.
Sound in here is overwhelming.
Yeah, it is. And you know, before I've had these now almost a year. It'll be in May of last year is when I got these. And it used to be when I came to these meetings, I couldn't tell what anybody was saying. And now,
Now it's too much.
yeah, it's like, no, maybe I should take them off.
Put it in where I can knock it over. I don't want you to knock it over. My latest venture has been slow scan television.
Very cool. I played with that
20 years
back in the day, probably. That's awesome though.
I'm not. The reason I'm trying to do that is to help some of the folks here do something.
Sure.
You know.
Right.
But technology.
Exactly.
But it's something that people can play with. They need to get a little bit of experience.
Right. That's very cool.
Bruce has awesome wind link now.
Okay.
Solar power.
I have to learn about WinLink. I've never messed with WinLink. I couldn't tell you that. Is it like EchoLink?
Greatest
Is it?
resource for emergency communication
Okay.
that there is.
Okay.
You can send email with no internet.
That's a cool thing.
No internet.
That's a cool
Now, we
thing.
can't send pictures and
Sure.
maps
Thank you so much.
at 300 baud.
Right, of course.
Whatever our
Well, I mean, back in the packet days, they were sending ASCII stuff back and forth, so, you know, you can make ASCII memes, I guess.
Uses packet.
Yes.
Or simple transmission.
Okay.
Packet is automated.
Okay.
Vector,
Yes.
which activates the weapon.
Sure.
Now there's a huge no code there.
Okay.
it uses 8 different carriers, kind of like the LRD 9800.
Okay, sure.
To send voice band information.
Okay.
And it's really pretty, it's comparable to text or
And for you,
What's up there?
y'all are on one ticket or separate?
Separate.
It's an email from runs on radio.
Sure.
And what do you have?
Small appetite,
Bacon or links?
links.
I gotta see how much it is today, sorry, $5.99.
It changes.
Only for you. No, I'm kidding.
And for you, ma'am?
Can I get the ham and cheese omelet, please?
Hash browns, home fries, grits,
Hash browns would be awesome.
biscuit or toast?
Biscuit? One of these days I'll learn them all without you having to prompt me, so I'll get there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I assume I would have to go find another TNC because I sold my last KPC3 20 years ago. Okay.
You don't need TNCs anymore. Even though I have 6 of them.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Oh. Okay. Yes. Really?
You get a sound card interface.
Sure. Okay.
And a lot of radios are coming with them built in now.
Interesting.
991 AC that I have.
Okay.
2 sound cards inside of it.
Really?
Plug a USB in the back, plug it in the computer, do everything.
Wow. See? Who knew? Okay.
You don't want to do that. Signal link,
Sure.
or for $60 you can buy one called rimmed mic.
Okay.
For $5 you can buy a sound card with 2 wires.
Okay. That works. Okay. Interesting.
Morning, ma'am, whatever you want.
Hey, morning, Gary. How are you?
Well, you doing all right?
When I wake up, I'll let you know for sure.
Good. Did you enjoy your drive down this morning?
Yeah, it was nice. I got to see the sun coming up, and it wasn't like smacking my face all the time, so it was good.
Good deal.
Yes. Okay, I will have to look into this then. Wow, check it out.
That's what the WinLink node looks like.
Okay.
And that's out in my shed.
Okay.
Solar powered.
I assume it's VHF, not UHF. I mean, you can do either one, but package. Okay. 140. God. 01, 03.
I'm on 145.610.
610.
There's several
Okay.
around the area.
Sure. Okay.
And I can also, the box over here on the right,
Yes.
is if we lose local internet, basically what this does is pick up emails being sent by radio.
Okay.
And here it can inject them into the internet.
Gotcha.
At my house. If we lose the internet,
Right.
it takes me about 15 minutes to hook up my HF radio to my antenna.
Okay.
And it will forward those emails and via
Wow.
HF to wherever there's someplace in the world.
That's fascinating.
That has
Sure.
internet.
Anybody who's listening on that can then be the gateway, basically.
Right.
To okay.
There's somebody someplace
Sure.
that has the internet.
Very cool.
Well, you've been in the chat.
Yeah, I've been in the shed, it's been a while. I was grabbed by and I hit the turn it off button.
I've got a friend that just got his ham ticket. I've known him for 20 years, but we've never talked ham stuff because that's not the circles that we run in. And he was asking me about WinLink, and I'm like, I don't know. I've been a ham for a long time now, and I don't know anything about WinLink. So, yes, sir. Okay. Okay, cool. Awesome. I will go home and mess with that because that's very cool. I wonder if I can hit what are you in the cove here? Where do you live?
I live up on the hill over top.
On the hill. Okay.
Park.
I might can get you simplex from there.
I'm just a couple of 100 yards from the repeater site.
Okay. Well, as long as you're on a hill and I'm on a hill, I can.
Yeah, I can hit Gatesville easily.
Okay. Well, I'm west of Gatesville about 30 miles, and there's a bunch of hills in between me and the cove, but in a little bit of a hole, yes. But that's okay. We'll get there.
He's got what, 3 nodes, 4 nodes?
Well, I want to get rid of them and send them off to club. I got one in Nova.
Okay.
I got one in Melbourne.
Okay.
And then Waco Club, he said there's a.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Yeah. I get that.
Let me go back to slow scan for a minute. Way back when, in the 80s, if you remember, they had the microsats, the first microsats. AMSAT Oscar 16, 17, 18, and 19. They were the first of the little cube, like they call microsats. And see if I remember, 16 was the first digital packet satellite. 17 was something else. One was from Argentina, Lusat. Anyway, there was one of them, and I forget which one it was. I think it was from Weber State University called Webersat. I think it was WO18. It sent images.
Mine has a
It sent images that slowly would populate your screen and give you an image of Earth that was taken from the satellite. And I'm trying. I don't think it was. I don't think it was slow scan. It was on VHF.
Okay.
Now I remember.
Okay.
Yeah, it came down. It was a digital format that came down on UHF, I think, or VHF, whatever. I had tracking
picture, and then you had to overlay the grid to what.
Okay.
Because I did that a couple times back. I had tracking antennas and all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
The first.
That was, say what, late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, sure.
I want one of those actually my son wants one of those microphones more than I do.
It'd be cool. I just don't know what I'd do with it because I probably wouldn't use it on a daily basis.
Yeah,
but
I don't like having a microphone on my desk because it takes up
space, right? I get that.
I tried to have a pile, and I liked that for a while, except it gets in the way.
Yeah.
And a headset and
right, the whole 9 yards.
The headset worked good until I get the hearing aids.
right.
Earmuffs don't feel good.
Sure, I get that.
But that's a nice.
It is a very nice mic.
That's even back a bit before my time.
There you go, right? You need an automatic hand tilt zoom. Yeah, when Kenwood came out with that little device that plugged into one of their talkies that had a camera on it, and you could slow scan through that little camera. I don't remember what the model number of that thing was, but I had a friend of mine. I mean, I don't know that we ever sent like selfie pictures of ourselves because that wasn't a thing way back then. But we, it's like, here's a picture of my computer, and so you'd send them,
How long ago? When was that?
Oh my God, 25 years ago? Probably 22 years ago, I'm going to guess.
Right
I
around
don't know.
the turn of the century.
Yeah.
My son reminds me every once in a while.
Exactly.
We've been here since the turn of the century.
I don't know what year that thing came out. I couldn't, but it was probably, I was still in college, I think, so maybe it was before college, I can't remember.
When did you get your ticket?
Then. 95.
Okay, that's right. My son got his in 93.
Okay.
He was 12.
Okay, I was 15, so I'm probably the same age as him.
I got my first license when I was 12.
Yeah, very cool.
That was in 1961.
There was nobody else in my family who had a ticket. I didn't know anything about ham radio when I didn't know electronics. I didn't know. I learned a lot.
I had a little bit of an advantage. My dad was a radio man in World War II, Morse code. And he taught me Morse code before I remember. I never remember learning it.
Sure.
It's always been.
That's awesome.
So my dad was ham, I'm a ham, my son's a ham, and my grandson.
Is he 12 yet?
Is let me find the He just turned 7.
Okay, you've got a couple more years.
He's reading well enough, and he wants to read well enough to study the manual.
Gotcha.
Because he wants his license. So he's
Cool.
studying.
That's very cool.
We got too many million pictures here. Oh, there's one. This was that was like 3 years ago.
Oh, look at that.
He knows
Yeah,
how to
he's
run
ready
all
to
the
go.
radios.
Yeah.
He was 4.
Wow.
You see my son, right? Or my grandson. Yeah, that was when he was 4 years old.
It's also Alex, right?
Huh?
His name is also Alex.
No, his name is William.
William. He's having fun with Grandpa.
Oh yeah. We've been at his daycare since he was born.
Okay.
My son and his wife both work for the school system.
Okay.
So we've been
Sure.
summers and after school. He's always with us. So
Very cool.
he's known how to run the radio since he was since he was really little.
Gotcha.
Like 1 year old. But yeah, he'll be as soon as he can read well enough to read the manual.
Right.
And take a test.
Right.
He'll get his license. Yeah, 93 when my son was 12, just turned 13, and well, I bribed him. He wanted to build his own computer. I told him, okay, you get your ham license, and I'll buy you a motherboard. So he went up to take his. Back then it was still in the technician.
No code tech, yeah.
And
they had no codes in 93?
No, it's
It was code,
required.
okay.
And he ended up passing the 13-minute code test.
Wow,
So he
very
got
cool.
his general.
Yeah.
And then we went up 2 weeks later to take his advanced.
Wow.
And I was an advanced.
Sure.
I better study for expert.
Can't let it outright you.
So we went up in April of '93 at the TRW club up in Sunnyvale. We were in California
Okay.
at the time. And I managed to just squeak through the 20-word-a-minute code test.
Sure.
Being an old electrical engineer, I had no problem with the
Gotcha.
written test.
Yeah.
But he passed the advanced class and the extra class written test. But he didn't pass the 20-word-a-minute code test.
Okay.
So
Well,
he
you
was
got back then. You had like a year, right? If you do back then, you had a year.
Yeah, but he never. There we go. So he stayed in advanced class until 5 or 6 years ago. My dad passed away, and then my son figured out that he could get my dad's old car, the original 2x1.
Right.
So, and the code test wasn't required anymore. So he didn't even study. He just ran over the belt and took the written test.
Right.
And upgraded. He got
Good
my dad's.
Very cool.
Got my dad's call sign.
I found out after I was licensed that my great-grandpa, whom I never knew, he passed long before I was born, was a ham. My grandmother gave me a membership card to the club that he had belonged to that they wrote his call sign down on. Ironically, the FCC reissued his call sign. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, thanks. And I didn't know they did that back then. It was a 1x3.
After a certain number of years. In fact, my son found out he had waited almost too long.
Okay.
They were within like 6 months of reissuing my dad's call sign.
Gotcha.
So he got it in time.
Okay.
Wow, I can't do all that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I ended up messaging the guy who had it. He's up in Ohio or Michigan. It's an 8 call sign. No, 9 call sign. And he was like, no, it couldn't have been his. I've had this call sign forever and ever and ever. I'm like, I'm telling you, I've got it right here on paper. It's in the call book, you know. Anyway, I don't have any emotional attachment to that call, so it was never a big deal for me. I was just curious, how it worked.
Well, I've had people ask me, why didn't I get a vanity call when I upgraded? And I know, I've had K5CRA since 1977, and
It's hard to change, man. I mean, it's like changing your name or something, you know?
it's a little, sometimes I wish I had something a little bit easier for CW.
Okay.
I don't do CW much. I don't do conversations with
Sure,
it. I
sure.
do use it for contesting and DX.
Right.
Because it's just easier to
Yep.
just do a pile up.
Yep.
And now with my radio, all I have to do is push button 1 and it sends my call at 20 words a minute. And push button 2 and it sends 599. Thank you.
Right. See, that takes all the fun out of it.
Yeah, I've got an old straight key there.
Right.
I haven't had to touch it very much.
I gotcha. I passed the. Yeah, I passed 5 or 13. I don't know. I think it was just 5.
Which license was it?
When I took my technician class test, I tried for, because it's free, you know, why not?
Right. So take it and just see what it's like.
I did end up passing the 5 words a minute. About a year later, my grandparents and all my relatives were in Michigan, and so we went up for a summer trip up there, and a buddy of mine let me borrow his little Radio Shack, whatever their 10-meter rig was, the HTX 100 or whatever. So I set that thing up in their backyard, and I was talking back to Texas on, you know, some pre-designated frequency. You know, back then you didn't have text messages to be like, hey, I'm on this frequency, come find me. So we were just at the whim of, do you happen to be listening the same time I happen to be transmitting? And that was really cool. I studied, you know, and passed the code just so I could talk to the folks. And, you know, at that point in my life, I was like, man, cool stuff.
Well, that was my son. He was, going to pass the 5 word a minute code test, and they said, "Well, take the 13 anyway."
Sure.
Well, he did, and passed it. Now, one of the advantages back then, by '93, they had gone to the where they send the FUSO, and you take a multiple choice test.
Okay.
Back in the old days,
you had to just straight copy.
You had to get 1 minute straight.
Right.
Random letters and numbers.
Right. It wasn't even a word that you could make sense.
13 words a minute. They sent 5-letter random code words for 5 minutes, and you had to get 65 characters correct without an error and write them down.
65 in a row, or could you have
65 in a row?
65 total. Wow.
65 consecutive characters correct. That was hard, and it was I did that in the FCC office in San Francisco, in a room with horrible acoustics, with a crummy old cassette player.
Yep.
And a guy staring at you.
Yeah.
Clear me out of here. Thank you.
What year did you come from California to Texas?
97. I was at the old, I was in California, Monterey. The old Fort Ord.
Okay.
For almost 20 years.
Okay.
From 77 to 97. I was still active duty when I got there. I got out of the Army.
Okay.
Civil service.
Right.
And then when the old Fort Ord closed, I was in a little weapons lab down near Big Sur in the mountains. And they closed that in 97. And so they picked up all the engineers and moved us here to Fort Hood to the Operations Test Command. And I retired out of there in 2010.
Okay.
40 years with the Army.
Wow. Well, thank you for your service.
Yeah, they just had somebody sent me a text, reminded me the other day. I forget what it was. Vietnam Veterans Memorial Day.
I didn't know that was a thing. Okay.
That was one of those.
Right, right.
Yeah, been here now 26 years.
Yeah. It's a long time.
Longest I've ever lived anywhere.
One place.
I took the test, but I couldn't pass the code. The code, like they did in Montreal. And so I passed the test, but I couldn't pass the code. So it wasn't until
It's like the crowd.
It is.
I remember 20 years ago when this club was put in a small room over on the side, and we might have 10, 12 people show up.
Sure.
We've grown a lot in the last 7, 10 years.
I'm very happily surprised that there's this many active folks. I mean, I haven't been doing much in Ham for the last probably 15 years. Life gets in the way, work gets in the way. You know the drill. But now that I'm here, instead of DFW, I'm like, I need to get back into it again and, meet new folks and try to see what I can come up with. And it's really nice to see a big crowd.
Now, for the first 10 or 15 years that I was here in this club, it was a pretty small club run by one guy, Robert Copperas.
Okay.
He just passed away a couple
Okay.
years ago. He basically ran the club as just kind of a little social operation.
Sure, okay.
20 years. We didn't do elections very much.
All right.
I think we had a constitution, but nobody knew where it was. It was just a once a month Saturday morning breakfast and
Sure.
see what's going on. He didn't have no agenda.
Yep.
Robert would get up and say, hey, anybody got anything?
No? Okay.
So 5 years or so ago, when he passed away, he kind of stepped down.
Okay.
And then we elected Gary.
Okay.
And you know what? That's okay. He's a born organization leader.
He's very good at it, yes. He's got everything together.
Yeah, he kind of formalized things, set up some committees and agendas.
Very cool.
And that, along with a lot of other people, thought that would discourage people. Well, it didn't.
That's good.
I was
That's
wrong.
good.
Because we got people here to come from Burnett, from Waco.
Wow.
We'll give the introduction to you here and then before everybody
I've met exactly one other ham in my county, in Hamilton County, and he actually lives in Hamilton. And I would guess he's probably early 80s. He was the mayor of Hamilton at one point in time. I don't know when, because he calls himself the former mayor, so, go figure. But he's actually he got involved. Hamilton is doing some kind of 5K fly-in to their airport if you have your own little personal plane and run a 5K or walk a 5K or whatever. And he's wanting to get some ham radio support to do that. And I'm like, I don't think any of, because I was telling him about the Cove group, and I said, there's a lot of people there, but most of them aren't going to want to drive all the way to Hamilton just to hang out for 3 hours at the airport and, you know, play logistics on the radio. So I don't think, are there people from Gatesville here? I mean, other than Steve, who's, okay. Well, I may see if Gary will let me do some kind of like little spiel to help this guy get his however many people he needs. He only needs like 4 or 5, I think.
Yeah, the Gatesville, you know, they're kind of local.
Right. I mean, out here, anything less than an hour drive is local, right?
We use the Gatesville repeater for all of our areas, traces, and all that stuff.
Okay.
Because the county seat and all.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's kind of like this stuff. And then a word from our studio.
Well, on Zoom yesterday, I asked you, who is that handsome gentleman in the blue shirt standing behind you?
He doesn't exist anymore. He's long gone.
So, hey, it's a good group today, huh?
That's what's going out right now.
Oh my God. Wait a minute, try to get my good side. Wait, I don't have a good side.
Where's Mary? Where's Mary? I'll get the good.
Where'd she go? Oh, there she is, right there, in the blue blouse.
That's where he got his call. He was really big into all experimental aircraft, the Oshkosh thing, and Sun and Fun down, he would fly down to Florida. Yeah. He flew until he was almost 80. And they finally yanked his license. And now his plane is a exhibit at some big avionics place out in Phoenix County.
Very cool. That's good memories.
He got inducted into the Illinois Aviation Hall of Fame right before he died.
Otherwise, some people
Paperwork, huh?
Hanging up at the house right now. Yeah, it's at the house right now. Well, I'm gonna tell you what, I put it in my truck, got home, forgot about it. My brain has just been like flooded. I pulled it out yesterday, oh my God. I'm sorry.
I have to get some volunteer.
Yeah, I was,
It ain't easy being old. You gotta get tough.
James, do you have anything to say for the folks at home?
Hello, I'm James. Mr. Ballshards recording.
You're on YouTube.
Good to see you, Steve.
Good to see you, sir.
Thank you.
I tried. Almost made it.
You did a really good job.
I just can't eat as much as I used to, which is good. I had my annual doctor's appointment yesterday.
Okay.
And the only things they ask about, I guess part of the wellness exam was your appetite.
Oh.
And I'm like, my appetite's still good. I just can't eat as much.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, sir.
K5CRA radio are the women
It was down a little bit the other morning. I know I went to check it and the green light wasn't flashing.
Yeah.
And it looks like Windows did an update or something. Shut down the sound card. I had to reboot it. But it was only down for an hour or so.
Okay, because I tried it and it would disconnect. There's something wrong. Listen, I heard the phone and it went away. There's something wrong with it.
Was it Wednesday morning? Yeah, every once in a while, Windows does so well. I got updates turned off. They're delayed. But every once in a while, I lose the USB port to the sound card. The sound loader. It's easy to tell because I go out and check, and if a little green LED is flashing on the sound card, I know it's okay. If I go out and look and it's not flashing,
You need to get a camera so you can watch this.
it's an alarm. Yeah, my appetite is fine. And especially this week, my wife is Chinese from Taiwan. And her family, her daughter from a previous marriage, and grandkids, the whole family was here this last 2 weeks.
Wow.
Her daughter and husband are still here. I had 7 people in the house. Had Chinese food, Taiwanese food all over the place. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. They got to cook 7 things on each meal.
Right.
Way too much.
That's crazy.
I told the doctor that yesterday. I've been eating way too much and all kinds of different things.
Right.
Oh, Chinese food. And he says, he knows my wife.
Okay.
And he says, well, you just keep doing whatever she's doing. He said, she's the most healthy 80-year-old I've ever seen.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
She still goes out and walks 2 miles most mornings.
Right.
And she's going to be 80 here in a couple of months.
Wow. Very cool.
Oh, yeah, he uses her again.
Right.
Keep doing what she's doing.
Hey, if it works.
The other thing when you get older is you got to be very careful about planning your bathroom breaks before the.
Trust me, you don't have to be older to do that. You just have to be on all kinds of weird meds.
The sound has been in the red for about the last time.
Need to put some pads in line.
Alrighty.
I'm going to try to sneak in my coffee. I'm ready. I was just thinking, I haven't been in here in years, but I still have a couple of these in here. I need to make some, I haven't made these like in 20 years, so I think gotta make some more.
That looks exactly like the graphics we used 20 years ago, you know, I mean, yeah, that's very cool. Thank you.
It also reminds me, my license is about to expire.
Next year, this year?
Yeah, like I think in June or July. You can't renew for 90 days before, which I think is coming up. And I heard renewing online is kind of a hassle now. You got to do it on the FCC database, and you got to remember the password that you used to get your FRN 10 years ago. And July 20th, April 20th, I can start the process.
I think W5YI group will do it for a couple of bucks. I don't know how much they charge.
I think the last time I did it, I had the ARRL.
Yeah, they might do it too.
I don't know. 50 some years ago, I graduated from engineering school with a double E degree and concentrated in computer design.
Okay.
It's all no good anymore. And so now I got to go to my 7-year-old grandson to show me how to do all this stuff on the computer. So I'll get William to help me.
Right.
He knows how to figure out websites.
Yeah, I grew up around computers. I mean, there's a picture floating around somewhere of me at 3 years old in 1980. Something in front of a trash 80.
I had one of those.
Somebody needs to write this down. This is one day we did not start on time. Well, no, if you've been here, you know, right? I like to watch that watch. Be sure. So welcome, everyone. So if any of you are camera shy, you simply put a piece of paper in front of your face if the camera is looking your way. Otherwise, smile.
A little late for that, isn't it?
It is a little late. And I was actually on my smart device watching myself drink coffee. So, and you're wondering who that guy was. I know.
Now they're being born in your body.
I know. And in response to the text message that was sent to me, yes, I am the ticket giver outer. So, because somebody is watching at least one person I know for a fact. So, Steve, thank you. We're going to do this one live today. So if you have YouTube and you pop on there, this is on there. There's about a 10 to 20 second delay in the amount of time that it shows, but it's on there. And this will be recorded so somebody can look at it later, right? Okay, we're trying out. It costs us exactly no money, and hey, if our members who aren't able to come to the meeting can at least see something that we're doing, hey. But like I said, we're going to try it out. It's not costing us anything to do, or not costing us anything. Just remember, we're being recorded. Say whatever you want to say, and it'll be there forever.
Okay, big boy.
Exactly. So I go to the city council meetings every so often, right? And I always have to remember that the microphones are on. And we had a little faux pas that happened recently where the microphones were supposed to be turned off because they were going to executive session, but there was a birthday in the room, so they did a little, just a little birthday thing. Nothing was inappropriate by any means, but that broadcast. It was like, oops. So I see some faces that I haven't seen before. We're going to do a round the room so you can tell us who you are, and we're going to have us a little meeting here. Not a whole lot of business to conduct, but nonetheless, we're here. It's April Fool's Day, and y'all believe me that there was a meeting, so that's good. So, but we're here. We'll run around the room. So, my name is Gary, and my call sign is WD5DW, and I'm here for Copperas Cove, and I am the club president. And we're going to start right here.
My name is Ross Kilo 8 Bravo Papa Zulu, and I'm the
Richard, KJ5CRA, I'm from Florence.
All right, you're from Florence.
Ross
K5 KKI Clean.
Joe, Kilo India 5, Tango Quebec Bravo from Pitco.
Got the Q sign. All right.
Paul, AA5, EF, down in Florence now.
Outstanding, Paul.
Rich, KA5 Papa Victor Tango. Some of y'all know me, some of y'all don't want to know me, but I'm here.
There you go. And I see you got your UTRGV sweater on. Anybody know what that stands for?
Yeah, University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley.
Rio Grande Valley. There you go. Good job. All right.
Mike, KJ6, KDJ from Gatesville.
Outstanding.
My name is James, K5 JPR from Kempner.
Outstanding. Welcome.
K5WEC, yeah. Parker
Parker High. Welcome. Call sign yet?
Not yet.
We do VE testing every session. If you feel like you want to take a chance, we do VE testing every session. And just for giggles, because some people don't know, if you are a volunteer examiner in this room, raise your hand. You won't fire. You probably won't find a higher percentage than this in many of the clubs. I'll tell you what. So we can get you a test if you need one.
Scott, KI5 PHX, Harper Heights.
Woo! Other Harker Heights. To your right. To your right, Scott.
Right. Number 1, Mike Alpha Kilo Jeff, out of Lake Islands.
All right, Jeff.
KG5 QNI, Jim from Thomas Cove.
KG5 TSO, Mary, also from Copperas Cove. Yes, this is my better half. And I'm your net control.
Yes, you are.
KI5 CNN, Wayne, Elaine.
Okay. And to the relative to your right.
Yes.
W5 COE Kogo out of Colleen and my wife Ashley.
Yay, all right. All right, back to the back.
KI7 TRK, Craig from Vernon.
All right.
W5 RCU for Ralph and Cole.
Got his HF rig right on the table in front of him.
I'm James, KG5 PT from Belton.
Belton, Burnett, Florence, all right.
Whiskey 5, Romeo Oscar November, Ron from Burning.
Yes.
Alpha NG5, Delta Alpha, Tim, from Cove.
All right.
Linda, the call sign yet. I'm from Philly.
You're from Colleen? Outstanding. All right, cameraman.
Steve, NU5D, like a nickel under $5, Gatesville, South Mountain. Good to be here.
All right.
Bruce, KD6UY, Copperas Cove.
All right.
Melissa, KM5R, Evant.
Our newest member, by the way. All right.
James from Gatesville, no call sign yet.
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 There's still time.
AG5 YouTube, click the link.
KD5 WMV, Shan from Durango.
Durango.
It's about 30 minutes south of Waco, about 30 minutes east of Temple, right out of the lot.
Oh, about a lot.
Yeah.
All right.
W5PAB, and I'm the trainer.
K5UT Teddy, Cole.
We'll go down this side.
I'm Jerry, KG5 YEP.
Kathy, K5THY from Cove.
Woo.
James, KO,
You know where that comes from. Not checking in often enough.
That's right. We got to get you on the radio more. Go ahead.
Gino, KC9QHW, this is my daughter, Rebecca. She's just here for the food, though.
There you go. All right.
Mark, Gentry, HAA, Clean Cove.
All right.
And the last, Kevin K4.
All right, our Vice President, Kevin. All right, well, thanks everybody for introducing yourself. I know that for some of us it seems quite repetitive, but we always have, thank goodness, new faces. And this is more for our new faces than anything. There's another room in this building where we used to do our meetings. It's over there, and it's got 6 tables in it, and we used to have a hard time filling 3 of the tables. And we now have this. So it's great. We're right now on the roster and on the rolls because, Melissa, we have 61 members in our organization. It is down from what we had last year. We had some members that did not renew. That's okay. We had some members that left the area, moved on to different, adventures or whatever. Amateur radio is one of those things where we get in, we get out, we sell our stuff, we buy stuff, not necessarily new stuff, maybe used stuff, maybe old stuff, whatever the case may be. So it's an ebb and flow. This is a hot note. Okay, this is when you have extra money or you have extra time. I don't know that it's anybody's primary mission day, night, and around the clock. So it's all right. So it looks like we need about 20 people for a quorum. If anybody feels so inclined to make a motion that we have a quorum and that we can vote on, let's do that.
I make a motion, we have a quorum.
KJ5PN makes a motion that we do have a quorum. We have to have at least 20 members here. And we got a second from Kevin, K5CRA. We had a third from Bruce and a fourth from Mary. So all in favor that we have at least 20 dues-paying members in the building that we can conduct business, say aye. And if you oppose that, say nay. All right, so we'll say we have a quorum if we need to conduct any business. So we got some show and tell, and if you brought it, you get to show it, and I'll start off. So do not allow the packaging to be deceptive to what's actually in it. And I realize that with MFJ. MFJ did something that I think is outstanding, whereas they create one box, but they have 4 different models to choose from. So they can put a little blue dot on what's the actual model. That's a heck of a marketing thing for them. And so this is an MFJ Grandmaster SWR watt meter. And this Grandmaster SWR watt meter actually runs 1.8 to 525 megahertz. And this thing will do single sideband, CW, AM. It handles up to 2 watts. And if it was the 870, it would actually handle up to 3 kW, which that's about 1.5 more than what we're allowed to do, but that's okay. So I'm just going to send this around just for y'all to take a look. This is not a take me home. This is goes back home with me. But I'll just send it around just so you can take a peek. But I have no monetary tie-ins with MFJ, but I am going to tell you, I have purchased, for those who have not ever used an MFJ product, I've actually purchased and used quite a few MFJ products and been pretty happy. One of the things that I like is that they assemble them here in the U.S. Now, they may get some parts sourced from overseas. I'm not going to doubt that. But they do a good job. And so I had seen all the MFJ thing, advertisements and stuff in the ham magazines and this, that, and the other. And some of the advertisements, they don't put a whole lot of money into them. They're kind of hinky, black and white, not the best of photos, this, that, and the other. But I've actually been pretty happy with most of the MFJ products that I purchased. The latest one that I bought was an antenna tuner, and I can't remember the model number, but when I key up on the radio, the antenna tuner, because of the cable I plug into it, it pops up and it does whatever magic it does, and the SWR is, makes the radio happy. So I had to go in, I think it's a 939Y is what it is, or 939I, I don't know. But those antenna tuners I'm pretty pleased with. And so if you've ever had a curiosity about MFJ, I encourage you just to take a peek. There's a ton of brands out there. Buy whatever you want to buy. But I've been pretty pleased with these. If you ever wonder, ask somebody that may have something. A lot of people have the 259 SWR analyzers. That right there is probably one of the best purchases that I ever made. And I made it at the Belton Ham Fest. And it was in the box, which for those who are new to radio, one of the things, one of the best things that you can do is keep the box that it comes in. Because when you get ready to move, trade it, sell it, give it away, put it away, whatever, if you have the original box that it came in, it is hugely beneficial to you. A lot of radio operators will pay more money if you have the box that the equipment came in when you go to do a trade. Because well, I'm going to tell you my belief. My belief is if you cared enough to keep the box and the box is in good shape, you probably cared about the equipment. I'm not saying that's across the board 100%, but I've seen it more often that if you keep that box, you're probably taking care of the equipment more than those who just toss the box and then they go and find some, leftover box to sell the equipment or trade it in. So keep that in mind. Keep your boxes. They're hard to come by. All right, so I did my show and my tell about it. Next.
This is Steve's here next.
Oh, okay. I thought Shan had something for next, but this is a duplexer. So what's a duplexer? A duplexer is a device that allows a radio to send on one radio channel and listen on another radio channel at the same time without one clobbering the other. A lot of times you're listening to something and somebody is on a channel very close by and they start interfering or make your receiver not work so well. This kind of, in a way, helps against what we used to call bleed over. Its purpose in light, this happens to be in the 440, 460 megahertz band. Quarter wavelength, which is about 5 inches, a little bit longer. And these are literally sections of coaxial line contained within instead of being a tubular piece of coax, it's rectangular, but these are actually lengths of coaxial cable that are connected together. You studied coax a little bit. A quarter wavelength section, which is 5 inches in UHF roughly. If it's open on the end, a quarter wavelength away, it's a short. These lengths of cable have adjustments where we can tune the length of it to make it reject and pass a particular radio channel. So what we do in the case of our Cove repeater, it's transmitting on 443.325. So what we do in the receive side, we notch out 443.325. On the transmit side, when we're listening to 448, which is what you guys send on, we notch out the 443 energy. And what that does, it allows one radio to listen to you 5 megahertz away. The second radio is transmitting using only one antenna. You don't have to have 2 antennas. So this is called a duplexer. This particular one is also called a mobile duplexer because typically this was installed in the old days in a mobile telephone. Back in the old days before we had the little cellular phones, the telephone was a big box in the trunk. And this allowed you to listen to somebody and talk at the same time. They're called a mobile duplexer. The heart of building any repeater system, they're what, $300-400? Well, used to be $300 or $400. I have no idea now. I think they've gone crazy on price. But I thought I'd show you what it is and pass it around. Try not to drop it too far. I think it's still under warranty. Thank you.
Steve, are those going to also be referred to as a passive filter, or I heard the term passive filter? Or no?
Yeah, exactly. The quarter wavelength, a short quarter wavelength away is an open, which allows it. The open allows the signal to pass. So you tune the open to pass a quarter wavelength away. A short, it's a quarter wavelength transformer. Same way we use a T on a line to match an antenna. A tuner is nothing more than a different kind of filter.
I've seen the ones with repeaters. They're almost like a soda can. They call it cans.
Bigger, higher Q, but they do the same job basically. That's just a budget-minded one.
Thanks. Is the main purpose to avoid bending antennas? Is that the main purpose?
I'm sorry?
Is it to avoid bending the antennas you need for bending?
Exactly. You would need, otherwise you would need one antenna for sending and another one for receiving, and they would have to be a distance apart to keep one from overriding the other. So this will let you use one antenna instead of having two different sites.
So to tie in with that, because you said something about the duplexers and the UHF repeater that we have up at the tower site, we have duplexers for it, and that's also a UHF duplexer. But the one at the tower site, the duplexers are about 4 of these, roughly about this size. And so they do the same thing. It's a configuration. like Mike talked about, the duplexer cans, by the way, this is one of the Copperas drawn on. The duplexer cans, the lower the frequency, the bigger the cans. Now, I've never seen a 10 meter duplexer, but I understand the duplexer cans on the 10 meter are about this tall. And the diameter is about yay big. So about, if you imagine, usually there's 4 cans. So they're about as big around as a paint can, about yay tall for 10 meters. And there are 10 meter repeaters that are out there. Look in repeater book, you can figure out where they're at. Yes, sir.
Are they all silver plated?
Typically, Wacom Products, I worked for at one time, would buy aluminum irrigation tubing. Then they would take that before the EPA shut them down in Waco to a electroplating place, and they would then plate with cadmium, which would bond to the aluminum, and then on top of the cadmium was a fine coating of silver. So you had triple plating because one won't stick to the next. But to raise the Q, the reactance over the resistance, to have a more selective filter, you cut the resistance down by having a better conductor. Silver is a better conductor than aluminum to give it a narrower bandwidth, sharper response.
All right. So we have another show up here. Or show and you can show it and not tell about it, or you can tell about it and not show it, but without those two combined, what is it?
It's a bunch of parts. Today, I brought this stuff to put together a dummy load. How many in here have a dummy load at home?
I do, he's still in bed.
I'm sorry.
We're on camera. I'll be on the couch for a week.
That's called a
But with the
hussy
dummy load,
load.
what this lets you do is work with your radio without burning up your radio. And they're simple to build. If you buy one, they can go anywhere from $50 up to a couple of $100. The most costly part of the whole dummy load is your case. This here is an aluminum case. These are transmitters that I had on that would transmit data, and they were bad. So what I did is I took the cases and I'm going to use them for the dummy load. So I've got my case now. Now we need resistors. So I didn't have to do resistors and do the calculations in parallel or series. I got a 50 ohm, 250 watt resistor. And on this resistor, you have a tab that you solder into, which goes into your connector, the back of the connector, and the connector grounds into the case. And then the resistor will screw onto the case, and it will ground into the case, making your circuit for the dummy load. That's how simple it is. Now, when you put it together, you'll want to put the electronic grease between your resistor and your case. Now I'm going to put this resistor right inside the case, but I'm going to countersink my screws and use like a stove screw or stove bolt. So it'll be countersunk, so if it gets too hot and this aluminum case does not work accurately as a heat sink, I can also come on the top and put my heat sink on the top to dissipate the heat a little bit. And you can use all sorts of different cases. If you get a low pass filter, they're usually, the cases can range anywhere from about like this, square. You can take that, put larger resistors in them, put them in series. I did this at 250 watts. Because I'm hoping not to have to go over 100 watts, but that gives you some leeway in case you put more power into it. You're not going to burn or damage your radio.
Is there a particular frequency that you would utilize this with?
This right now would run your HF, VHF, and UHF. So, but this is just simple. This little resistor on Amazon, you can get it for about $3. This here is about 2 to 3, sometimes up to 5. So If you've got cases laying around, your case, like I say, they can range anywhere from $10 to $20. So now you put together a dummy load fairly inexpensively and not spent the big money on it. Any questions? Yes, sir.
See, some dummy loads are oil filled. Is there kind of a boundary? Okay, well, what amperage or what wattage level do you need to probably go to?
The oil acts as a cooling agent, and it helps cool for the higher wattage, and it will absorb some of the heat and dissipate it into the heat sink, and it goes through the oil and then into the heat sink.
Anybody else got a question or something to share? All right, good deal. I think that's all the show tell that we have. Does anybody else have a show tell that they brought that we didn't already know about? All right, Ralph. Yes. Sorry, I forgot about this show tell.
This is part of the drawing. This is my new go bag that I got. It has the 705. It has the battery 13 hour. I can actually, it has a modification, not modification, upgrade, where you don't need any cables going to the radio. I can get my laptop and go wireless in it and send WinLink or anything. So you don't need cables on the radio. Somebody gets wired and I use this out in the field and it's pretty good. Go back. I had another side of the case into the case and everything wraps out. Any questions?
It'll round out into the case. When you say wireless,
This is for
I told you where people can see it.
Wow. Ralph, what is the frequency band that you can operate on that antenna? All on that one antenna?
Wow.
I actually saw this at the Hamfest in Orlando. The guy built it, and he had like 30 or 40 of them sold it in that 1 hour. And it's a good little thing. And your data port, and and it has your speaker, mic, all everything comes up. The other one, I had to put inside the case of two things. This one.
Does it have a power source? Or
You can do solar.
so it's external power? Okay.
Got a built-in battery.
And a battery.
And the
Okay.
And external battery.
Oh, it just goes in your cover, it doesn't look like a shit over that, it's just up. Well, that I understand, I was just looking at the little guardrail. You don't have to do all that for it. All you can do is say, hey, yeah, it works. I wouldn't think you'd lie to me there.
That's pretty fancy. Ralph, what's the output power that you would expect on that?
Well, it's only up to 10 watts.
10 watts.
But I'm gonna add, also, I had that antenna tuner, the icon, and, set it up to a power amp. That's what we're gonna do too.
Okay, so you can feed that into a power amp and then give it a lot of boost.
Does the antenna fit in that side post then, or no?
Oh, yeah. It does.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
It's what we're gonna use out there.
It's outstanding. Couple that with an external antenna.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, you got lots of it.
Bike stick.
Or a chameleon.
Or chameleon, go ahead.
What's the firm that manufactures the go bag?
Go bag, it's Whiskey to Hotel Victor Hotel. And it's on well, the way he's on right now. He's on YouTube. Sorry. And
whiskey.
he sells them out in Florida. It's called Whiskey 2 Hotel Victor Hotel Enclosures. And he started up the website. He just started up.
So Whiskey 2 Hotel Victor Hotel Enclosures. All right, good deal. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Anybody else got a show / tell, tell / show or a tell? All right. Nothing under old business. Let's move into new business. Second Thursday evening education sessions. Kevin, it's your time. Sell it. Brag on it.
Whether you know or not, we have classes at the fire station right across the street here on the second Thursday of every month. Unless I'm out of town and then I move it and readjust or whatever. And we'll usually have a topic, and I'll let you know what that is beforehand. Unless we decide to completely throw that out and just start over like we did last time.
Thank you.
And yeah, we had some folks that really wanted to know some more fundamentals of amateur radio, and we spent the entire period just basically advocating. Gary just went nuts. He was up there drawing pictures on the board, and Teddy too. And we were all basically explaining how radio works and some of the rules, and started getting into some technical stuff. And I know that the folks that were there really enjoyed we basically shelved our scheduled program and focused on what they wanted to hear. So, and that's fine with me. I don't, as long as you show up, that's all I really care about. And, my intended class for that night, and we'll do it again next time, is working with FLDigi and transferring data and photos and messages and stuff like that over regular analog radios. So the next one will be on the second Thursday, whatever day that is here. Associate here.
13th of April.
13th.
Yeah,
Okay.
April 13th.
That'll be 2 Thursdays.
Is that on a Friday?
So, if you want to come, bring a laptop and a radio and interconnecting cable if you got them. If you don't bring anything, and we'll do it anyway. Because you don't even need a radio to do it in a classroom environment. It's pretty cool. It's basically an audio mode, and I think we talked a little bit. What did we do last time? We talked about some various modes, and I did play the actual the transmission, some of the sounds we did, and I did like 3 or 4 different modes so you can hear what a radio sounds like, and some of the MFSK and PSK modes. They all had unique sounds. So if you hear some weird noise on the radio or on the repeater one of these days, you'll know what it is. You say, hey, I recognize that sound. That's that idiot over there doing that crazy FL whatever stuff. That's me. And speaking of which, what I want to do, and Gary and I have done this in the past, and Teddy, and a few other folks, just for fun, we were moving photos and forms and data just over Simplex, just to goof off. And what I'd like to do is after our regular Tuesday evening nets, once we wrap that up, we'll go right into a digital net and basically do the same stuff that I've just been talking about, primarily using FLDigi. And for those of you that have your stuff already set up, just be prepared, and we'll pick a mode and we'll just start moving data over the repeater. And for those that don't like to hear a bunch of squawky noises, just turn your volume down, because it's just a bunch of squawky weird noises. But we're moving data when that happens. I'm sure you've been around for a while, you've heard the fusion now. If you don't have your inbound squelch set, you'll hear a bunch of noise on that too. It's the same kind of stuff. So, Thursday the 13th, whatever month this is, April?
April.
And 6:30 at the fire station, right across the street. This park over there in the library parking lot. sneak around in the back door where all the fire trucks are, and we'll let you in. And we'll go as long as it takes. And like I said, we'll start with the subject that I plan on teaching for an hour or so, but if you want to hear something else, if you want to bring in something that you brought, and you want to play with it, we'll do that too. You know, it's whatever you really want. And if anybody wants to actually go into some kind of a formal training program for a particular radio license, just let me know and we'll do that too. Yeah. Pretty much it.
All right. Yes, sir.
I had a question for all. How many of you, by a show of hands, attended the Zoom meeting for Dr. Hickman's explanation of the J-pole?
I tried to, but at 7 o'clock, nobody was there.
Because it was 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock.
Because it was 9 o'clock.
It said on the email, it said 7 o'clock Central Standard Time.
And you had to make the adjustment because it is on the website, it's 1900 their time, which would be 2100 or 9 o'clock.
Right. Like I said, the email that was sent said 1900 Central Standard Time. So I logged in, looked at it, nobody showed up. So
I thought the same thing, but I double checked at their website.
Right, no, I didn't look at their website, I only looked at the email that was sent to all of them.
So everybody missed Dr. Ed Farm show?
I listened to about half of it. I listened to about half of it.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of repetitive. I know Ed, I mean,
It was a pretty good presentation. I think everyone saw it. They appreciate the subtlety and understanding of RF transmission through the antenna.
I actually have an Ed Fong antenna that I bought. I'm very impressed with it. Very, very impressed. Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I'll get up in front of people so they'll lift me off the side.
You just want to be on camera.
Yeah. Wednesday, after the other nets are completed, David, K5CRA out of Waco, makes available a repeater at Bruceville on 147.24 to 97.4 tones for the purpose of digital experimenting. We've been recently playing with slow scan television, also Digitrix, any mode. You know, a lot of people, well, we want to play with Vera, we want to play with FLDG, we want to do a lot of these things, but I'm just a technician, right? A lot of these modes you can operate on VHF just as well. Certainly you're not going to talk across the world, but you can get a feel for how they sound and things of that nature. So Wednesday nights, if you're hanging around after the nets and all have completed, about 9 o'clock, tune in and join us. Anybody's welcome. Talk in voice, and then we switch to data. It's very informal, and the whole idea is to get an opportunity to play around a little bit and have some fun with some of the different modes. Thank you. 97.4.
well, Steve, can you just
Hey, Steve, you have a question?
Yes, sir.
Can you just do a brief thing on what slow scan TV?
Oh, okay.
I mean, I kind of know, but.
We, right now, are doing live fast scan television on YouTube. Slow scan is similar to a facsimile, where we take line at a time, very slowly, and send information in a varying amplitude of tone. So you listen, dee, 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 dee. I can't do a really good simile of it, but you'll hear tones going over the air, and on the other end, those tones are reconstructed into varying degrees of brilliance. If you listen on 20-meter band on 14230, and you hear all this weird stuff, or 14233, international slow scan is very, very popular. Around here, people would go out during the day, take a picture of something that's interesting, and then a group of people at night would share those pictures with one another. It's not cutting-edge technology or anything, but it gives you a chance to experiment a little bit, use your computer, use your television, use your radio, and promotes a little bit of activity.
You're just sending a photo then. You're not sending like what we're used to TV.
Oh, you can take a still shot, yeah, but you can't do live television, it's too slow.
Okay.
There actually are live TV, and we did that about 20 years ago through NTSC television. We could look at your shack, wave, and that is something we can do. I'm not set up to do it, but it's there, and the hams can play with it. Yeah, Ron?
Repeat the frequency, please.
147.24 plus 600, and the tone is 97.4. It's a dual mode, it's a fusion repeater, but it'll also operate analog FM. So if you get on it and you hear fusion, well, it's fusion. When they're done, you get on it with FM, it does both deals. And the beauty of it is, it's for that purpose. You're not going to bother anybody with tones that are used to listening to a voice channel. So come join us Wednesday night, 9 o'clock.
Say it again, the frequency?
147.24.
What else?
And a 97.4 tone plus 600 offset. And it should be in repeater book.
All right.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, I done it with him, it takes two to tango, basically. But the other thing is, when the picture's coming across, it reminds you of your printer scanner. You know how that light goes across it? That's basically the picture shows up that way. It works its way down until you see the whole picture.
It was an TV that was confusing me. So how do you do slow scan but watch TV like, you know, we're thinking of a live video? But it's just sitting on a picture.
Yeah.
Send a video. All right.
TV is the wrong term.
I love how we tie a bunch of stuff in with our education. This hobby is all about education and learning and knowing and doing and sharing. And if you know something and you're willing to share it with someone, you now are an Elmer, okay? Anybody in here can be an Elmer, okay? So remember that. Hopefully you're willing to share as people have been willing to share with you. All right, moving on. Tailgate Swap Fest, April 29th. So, Belton is in 2 weeks, right? And I'm sure everybody's going to go to Belton. And I'm glad they finally moved their Ham Fest so it didn't interfere with our meeting, right? Those of you who have been here on Ham Fest Saturday, Belton Ham Fest Saturday, and said, oh, gotta go, and I'm out the door, and here's a trail of cars going to Belton. So I appreciate the fact that Belton finally got their stuff together and moved their Ham Fest so we can have our meeting. But
I remember a couple times that we used to move our meeting to the second.
We've done that. We've moved our meeting, or just had the lightest meetings you ever saw, but Belton finally got the picture. And I say that jokingly, but that's the 15th. That is the 15th, 16th for Belton. And there is a parking plan, like where you're going to park. There is a parking plan that they have broadcast. Go to their website, take a look, so you know where to park. They're trying to avoid all the intermingling of regular parking and the people who are tailgating and the people who are staying here for 2 or 3 days in their RV. They're trying to segregate those out so that they have a group. So I encourage you to look at the parking plan so you have an idea ahead of time. Do like a firefighter does. Look at it beforehand. It's called pre-planning. We try to figure it out ahead of time. So anyhow, our Tailgate Swap Fest, if you end up not having a good experience at Belton, or you get something and you're like, you know what, I don't really want this. Come to Copperas Cove on the 29th of April. We're going to do our Swap Fest. We'll do it primarily, unless there's something that has come up, we'll do it at the same location we have done it at in the back of City Park. If not for anything, you don't have to sell anything, trade anything, buy anything. Just come out there and visit. We'll be out there for a few hours. If it's warm, it's warm. If it's cold, it's cold. Who knows? It's Texas. But it is a social gathering. So if you don't have anything you want to trade, swap, buy, whatever, come out there for the social aspect. But if you want to do some stuff, bring your stuff out there. All we ask is that you limit it to something that's tied with amateur radio. We're not out there to sell Tupperware, vacuum cleaners, or any of that. So chickens, don't, you know. I know that eggs go well with ham, but please don't bring chickens to sell. There we go. And don't bring your pig either. Okay? But anyhow, ham radio stuff is what we ask that you limit your buy-sell trade to. Anything else on Tailgate Swap Fest, April 29th? Sir? Location? It's at the Copperas Cove City Park, in the most northeastern part of the park where it's always been. I will develop a plan B in case that area is already occupied when we get there, because it is first come, first served. And we typically get there first, and we get to have it first. But if some sort of conflict arises, there are no bathrooms immediately available where we will be meeting. However, new bathrooms that have been constructed in the park and will hopefully be ready by the time this comes around.
Have been being constructed for years.
Yeah, I know. But they are so much closer this year than they have ever been. To my knowledge, they have not opened the bathrooms up yet and had the first flush, but they're working on that. There will be a first flush ribbon cutting they plan to do. Yes, sir.
Time is what, usually about 8 till noon?
8 till about noon, and everybody starts showing up like normal ham radio stuff at about 6, you know? And that's okay. Just, you got what you brought is what I'm gonna tell you. If you wanna sit down, you better bring you a chair, okay? You got what you brought. And it's fun. If you've never been there, just come out. It's just an opportunity. Tell anybody in amateur radio about it. Everybody's welcome. And there's enough space out there underneath the shade trees. Maybe a little warm, but we'll be all right. All right, anything on that before we move to the next item? All right, Kevin, you're up. June Field Day.
All right, for those of you who've been around for any length of time, you know that our field day, the way we do it, is just sort of a bunch of folks getting together and having a good old time. And we don't really organize a lot of stuff. We know those people who do those things. And we get together with just a minimum amount of confusion and organization, and we have fun, and we eat a lot of food, and we do some radio stuff. We get points, we don't really care. It's just sort of for our own internal use. This year we've kind of determined that we want to make it more of a public event. We want to draw more attention to perhaps the area and the club. And for that reason, it's going to take a little bit more organization, which means I'm not going to be able to do it by myself. So we're going to need 4 or 5 people that we're going to maybe bring together a field day team. And it's going to be a little different from the way we usually do it, but it's probably going to be the same folks doing the same stuff. And one of the first things we're going to have to do is find a good location that's publicly accessible and visible to people. One thing that we've never really had, that I can remember, is a go-to station. I think we were at High Chaparral, we had one a million years ago, before I was even playing stuff. But get on the air station, where you basically invite people to come in and get on a radio and have their first experience with amateur radio. We're going to need a team of folks to do the usual antenna directions and setup. And usually we just have the same core bunch of folks get together and do it because we have to. But I want to get it a little bit more organized this year. If I'm going to be in charge, then I'm definitely going to need some help. So we'll need people designated to, like we need a designated safety officer to basically just make sure that you're not doing dumb stuff and putting coax in your face or something like that. And that's all just per the ARRL rules. And like I said, 4 or 5 people. What that means is I'm just going to have to basically volunteer some folks, whether they know it or not. I know, like Teddy always does the logging, and he sets up the laptops so that they're all connected to each other, and then at the end of the event, we have a log, and then I'll usually have to convert that and send it in to the ARRL guys, and hopefully they won't leave it like they did last year.
I won't be able to do it this year. I have no computers. They're all down.
I can make All right, so we got, that's the kind of stuff that we need to organize, because when things fall through at the very last minute, like they always do, there's usually a little bit of redundancy involved. We have a, for those of you who don't know, we have a club trailer, we have a generator available traditionally. Somebody provides a generator.
Oh yeah, we got several generators now.
And the gas to run them. And Rick and Pam have provided their house for the last 3 field days. And what we want to do, like I said, is we're going to have to pick a location, not City Park necessarily, not High Chaparral, because it's hidden from the public. I want to find some place that's right where people can see it, maybe near a road, something like that.
So we're not going to Wolf Ranch?
No, that's not the intent. Now, Rick and Pam will obviously be, they'll be part of this team to get this done, because they want to make sure that it happens too. And I've already spoken to him about it. So, for those folks who want to contribute or whatever, just get a hold of me, not today necessarily, but we only got 2 months to get this done, so for the next 6 weeks at least, we're going to be having to pick a spot and develop some kind of a crew and organize who's going to be where and when, that kind of stuff. So a little bit of organizing and a whole bunch of volunteering.
Put me down for antenna.
Yeah. See, Bruce does antennas, Teddy does logging. I've been doing the food for the last couple of years with Rick and Pam, and maybe I'll still stick to that part too. But yeah.
Go to the station needs somebody that's been licensed less than a year. So y'all are the important ones.
I got my ticket in '95. I'm sorry, I can't help.
We need new people.
Yeah. GOTA is probably one of the most fun parts of field day from my experience. I've had experience with the #1 4A team for the last 20 years plus, and that's the Huntsville Amateur Radio Club. And those guys are military precision when it comes to field day. They don't mess around. They have 4 stations set up with CW and phone on all the bands, and they go all night through the entire 24-hour event, and they set up the day before per the rules, and they do everything right by the book. They get every single point that is available, and that's the experience that I've had in the past. So that doesn't mean we want to do it that way, because we just don't have the folks to do that necessarily. We don't have to worry about it. But I do want to at least get to the point where we're making it a public event. And like I said, the first thing we're going to have to do is pick a location. So that's probably going to be.
How about that open lot right over there that we couldn't use last night because they were planting grass?
Yeah, the city won't let anybody play with it.
Wouldn't hurt to ask again.
And again, you have to think about things like, it's going to be in June, it's going to be hot, so you're going to need poopers and water and shade and all that kind of stuff. So it takes a little bit of thinking. I like Ogletree Gap because it's got everything. It's got public restrooms, it's got a really huge shaded area. It isn't exactly on the main road, but it's pretty close. And we've done events there before, and I had a great time, and it lasted all day. So that's kind of the kind of place that we're looking for. If you don't have a spot that's shaded and protected, then you're going to need some, like, we've done motorhomes, and we've done tents and stuff like that in the past. That's a lot of work, okay? So unless you really want to volunteer to donate something that provides shade or a motorhome with air conditioning in it, because it's going to be June and it's probably going to be a little warm. So just think about all that stuff too. So if you want to volunteer, first of all, other than the people that have been voluntold already, just get a hold of me. You can get a hold of me on my email, and I think we just published the membership roster last night. So if you don't know how to get a hold of anybody, then you probably don't know how to use a computer or phone. So don't worry about it. You can get on the groups.io and send me a message there, and I'm going to probably be reaching out to a whole bunch of folks here in the next week or two to get that location nailed down, and then from there we'll just start working on who does what. Any questions or immediate volunteers for help?
I do have a couple of comments. Number one, 24 hours versus shorter time period. Because if you're going to be doing a public event, the public's not going to come out at 3 in the morning, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, the people here have a hard time participating after 7 or 8 o'clock. That's yours. And if you shorten the time period, if it's legal to do so, and get more people to volunteer for a more, I I guess you say, get their participation during those hours,
Yeah.
and they know they're not committing for 24 hours, you're probably gonna get more people participate. That's my opinion.
Right. Now, and the way that that's worked is to have a roster for dedicated station operators. And typically we'll have 3 stations, something like that, and we'll have a dedicated digital station. And there's a lot of little subtleties to field day that gets kind of forgotten. And that's like at the very beginning of the event, you're supposed to receive a message. It's a digital message that gets sent from Whiskey 1 Alpha Whiskey, from the mothership. And that's a big chunk of points too. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on that just sort of happens in the background and it's done. And that's all done in the first couple hours of the field of the event. You have some form of an educational program that's supposed to go on, and that can be done with a local educational system, or just somebody can give a class. And you're supposed to have some public officer come, or a local representative or something like that. There's a lot of detail and stuff like that. And like Cliff said, that will only happen during the daylight, typically. Happy birthday. All right.
The reason I mentioned that, James, who I'll mention in a minute, he's not one of the 10. And Will hasn't been around in a while. And that's because they're 2 people that have been staying overnight. So
yeah.
Unless you got people willing to donate time overnight, you can get a roster.
Well, I'll tell you, I do it all night long. I'm a day and night guy. And that's my typical schedule anyway. So I'll be on all night long. I'll usually sleep for a couple hours somewhere in the middle there, but nobody's doing much else anyway. But there's still a lot of contacts to be made in the middle of the night. So it's just a matter of getting set up and going 24 hours. For those who want to stay all day, you can. If you don't. That's it. It's pretty much that easy. But the things that are scheduled, like I said, an educational event or something like that, that's done during the middle of the day on Saturday, just to make sure that it fits into people's schedule. These are all things that are going to have to be ironed out if we want to do it in a public location. So in other words, you can kind of get a hint that there's going to be a little bit of effort involved in getting this done. And like I said, I can't do it by myself. So volunteers will be good. So stay tuned for that, and watch your email, get on the groups IO, or whatever you need to do. And either get in touch with me or I'll find you. Okay. Any other? Sure. Okay. Well, that makes you a volunteer right there. And hey, you don't have to be from this area. I've got lots of folks from very wide surrounding areas. And I know we cooperate with the Belton folks quite a bit. We got Waco involved now, thanks to Steve and all our interconnected. Oh shoot, we're being videotaped right now. So we got Waco, we got Troy. We got a pretty wide area coverage. I know we cover 5 counties right now. And even on our repeater, we get out really, really far, all the way down to Dripping Springs and Burning. So, yeah. If you want to come and play here, and you maybe go somewhere else and play in your local area.
You also don't have to be a hand.
Yeah, you don't have to be a hand to participate, sure. And guess what? We'll probably do a VE session while we're doing all this too, because we can. Okay, we may do 2 or 3. Who knows? Drag somebody in that you don't really like and make them get a radio license. Someone you do like. It doesn't matter. Just, object is to have fun, maybe get a few points, maybe get out the word, spread the word and spread the love as far as K5CRA and the Cove Repeater Association. Let people know we're here. Doesn't do any harm to make the club a little bit bigger. Once it gets bigger, we're going to grow out of this entire room right here, by the way, because we're pushing it right now. So, the more the merrier. All right, I'm done talking. Next.
So, field day, guys, for those of you who have never participated, it can be a lot of fun. You're right, Chief. Overnight, if we're going to run a 24-hour ship, we're going to have help overnight too. So, there's a little bit for everybody there. No, you do not have to be a radio operator, and if you've not ever operated HF, don't worry about it. We'll teach you how. It's some of the best fun that we could possibly have, you know, in our club is to come together and do that. So we'll see what happens. Be sure to contact Kevin and let him know that you're ready to help out. We'll be there. I don't mind being a 24-hour person, being there overnight. It's a fun thing to do. All right. Members not present, sick, confirmed, or other. Chief.
Probably need help with this one. I know James, K5CRA, the young man. He's in Cleveland, Ohio. Been there for 2-3 weeks already. He's got cancer. He's been battling it. Was free for a while, came back. He's under a program there that the first week they got his body ready for infusion. He went through that okay. Of course, he's tired afterwards. I don't know exactly what kind of infusion it is. I see his dad all the time. They have a GoFundMe page, Mike?
That's under Braden's 4th battle with cancer.
Braden's 4th battle with cancer.
His name's James Braden. Charles.
Well, I call him James, but it's Braden's
he goes by James.
4th battle. And I'm sure it's quite costly. He does stay there out of the hospital in kind of like a McDonald's house type thing. He does have people from the area that go and stay with him. You know, they kind of alternate off, best friends, whatever. They go and stay for a week or 2 or whatever. The plan is to do these infusions, and then at a later date, he's going to have surgery. So it's going to take surgery also. So don't know when that'll be. When I find out, I'll let people know. I see him about every 2 or 3 weeks. I see the turnout. But he's battling. I know John, AI. He went through some trying times, and he's recuperating. From what
He's still in the hospital, but recovering, doing better. He's in rehab now.
And he's one of the hams that in the link system through Meridian. He has a routine over there. So I don't know anybody else. Anybody else want to bring anybody else to bring it to their attention?
Any word on Jim Hall?
Jim Hall.
AI5, AI9.
Oh, AE90.
Thank you.
Okay, Jim, that would be Myron in them, but I haven't heard anything from Jim since he got out. So,
No new news?
no news.
No new news on 89E.
How about Mike Tyler? Anybody heard from him?
K6STU, anybody heard from Mike lately?
No, I know that he's.
No check-ins for him.
No check-ins. I did see Mike in this building about a week and a half ago. Talked to him.
How do you look?
He didn't look like he was going to run out and do a marathon, but he looked like he was doing all right. So, yeah. All right, anybody else to add to that?
Different topic. I've mentioned all of these things we can do, digital-wise, downloads and all of that. I do have a place for all of the information in one place, on a website, my own website, nu5d.org. And I have a page with digital stuff, so you can click on and download and get a lot of the things without having to do a whole lot of searching to find things. So just thought I'd pass that on.
All right. I made contact with the daughter of one of our silent keys, Lon Hansen, Whiskey 1 Sugar Fox, asked about his estate, if she had sold everything. Apparently there's still some items that are out there. I did not look at our website yet to see if it's still posted, but if you had the previous email that was sent out on that, you could contact her. She did not give me a list of what's left. Somebody has contacted her and got some stuff, but Whiskey 1 Sugar Fox. Just go back and find my email and see if you can see that. All right, anybody else before we move on to VE?
Speaking of the website, who maintains that, or does anybody maintain that website?
W5JPT, John Patterson.
It's like a couple years out of date.
You should have meeting before last.
Yeah, he was here to me.
You should have been meeting before last, but you tell us what personal issues still work through.
Yeah, oh yeah, some stuff.
But if you see something that you know is out of date, you're welcome to send him a message. He'll update it. He's quick to update stuff. All right, volunteer examiner, chief.
Got here about 6 this morning. I guess about 6:30, one of the people testing showed up. Ralph showed up early and Shane, so we had to be easy. He was tech-only testing, and so he started his test and left by 7 o'clock. He passed. And we had one other one show up, and he didn't make it this time. He's going to study and get it later on.
All right. Just remember, we got a test session every month. We can do it sooner if need be. Speak up if we need one. All right. For the good of all, we've got 4 door prize drawings that we'll do. Got 2 cups. Got a. This is the Dunwoody High Performance Crystal Set. It's a product of the Borden Radio Company out of Houston, Texas. What exactly is this?
It's a crystal radio set and you gotta build it. From scratch. Everything is in there, you just gotta put it together.
And this is to listen to what?
All kinds of stations.
Okay. So, if you're interested, this right here is a $60 value. So if you're interested in building a crystal radio set, all the instructions, everything are in here. And you can take and build it right up. It should be pretty easy that pretty much anybody in here can do it, right? Okay.
You can read.
Even Gary. That's right. The Linco portable radios that were won last time have been donated back. So the Linco radios are up, and these 2 cups. So here we go.
Oh,
These have been mixed.
I do have one thing to say. Miss Priscilla would like to have somebody help her install a radio in her car.
If there's anybody out there,
I volunteered already, but she actually took me up on it.
if there's anybody out there that wants to be an elder, please be mindful to do that. All right.
That was probably my ticket.
285 was the number, but that's not the drawing number. It fell out.
No.
But I've mixed this up quite a bit. Who's got 285?
You can't read off the number and then not do it.
It fell out. This is the official winning number for one of the cups. Okay? As far as I know, everybody's still here. 310. 310. 310. All right, PTE. You pass that back to PTE.
Hey, these are coolers. You can put a can in it or a bottle.
Can or bottle, okay.
You can take this and unscrew it like this. Right now it'll take a can, and then when you pull this out, you can stick a bottle in it. So it'll do a bottle or a can to keep your soda cool.
All right. So the next one for a blue one is 351. 351. Ross. All right. All right. We'll go to the portable radios next. All right, newest member. Pick a winner. Hey, there's a winner. Yay. 288. 288. All right.
I was off by 20. When you next.
All right. Last but not least, I'll draw this one, and if it's me, I'm not going to take it. So this is for the crystal radio set. I don't have enough time sometimes to brush my hair. All right, so here, the winner of the crystal radio set, 292. Gino?
No, it's not me.
Oh, it's not you? 290? You got 292? Do it over, okay?
Yeah.
Here we go again. 346. Ross, 346. All right. That's a double winner today. All right. We'll good job, everybody.
We're not giving away that stuff, you are here?
No, I'm waiting on that
Show and
one.
tell.
Show and tell. Show and tell. Still in the box. I hope
I want to
so.
refund on these tickets then.
Yeah, okay, it's good. So, all right, well, I want to thank everybody for coming to the meeting. Please, as we're moving forward through the next month, be safe in your travels. For those of you who participate, we have Easter coming up in a week. Bellingham Fest the week after that. And if that's off, the week after that's our Tailgate Swap Fest and, hang out. So please contact Kevin if you're willing to donate some time, energy, and effort towards our field day if we're going to do it. If you've got ideas of places here in town where we can do it, that'd be great. The better idea is that we have a place that has got 24-hour accessibility, ideally, enough area that we can put up some antennas, okay? Air conditioning would be great, but it's not required. If you're not gonna, if it doesn't have air conditioning,
Apparently you don't live in Texas.
Well, I don't live in Texas. Hey, I'm gonna tell you something. Of all the people in here, there's only a very few that have done a whole lot of field days, and there's a lot who's done a few. And I can tell you this, we've done a whole lot of field days in Copperas Cove and had no air conditioning, and did it, and it got hot, and so forth and so on. So it's doable. It's kind of not tolerable in some respects, depending upon how our June is, but it's fun no matter what. So think about that. But by all means, Kevin is going to be the trail master on that one, and stay together with him. Any other comments, questions, or otherwise? Yes, sir.
Solar eclipse. I saw on the web the other day that Waco's selling tickets.
Yes, they are.
Why would someone buy a ticket for a solar eclipse when it's...
Yeah, I know. I know. They're selling tickets at the McLean Stadium. So sure hope they figured out where the sun's going to be in reflection.
The reason we sell the tickets is so they can sell the rooms to go along with it.
There you go. All right. So anybody else? All right. Make sure you tip the waitress. It's really good. They did a good job for us. You don't got to leave. We still have the room for another 20 minutes. Have a great one. See you on the air.
Turn my hearing aids down again.
There you go.